Thank you, everyone, for joining and going through this presentation. So, this presentation is about human agents to GPU-powered generative AI collaboration. This is Amaan Javed. I'm a principal application engineer at Meta, and I majorly work on transforming customer service CRM systems to make it easier for the customers and also the agents to build build is um, highly scalable and efficient systems in customer service related to and in the recent past we have seen generative AI being in the forefront of all the interactions we are having. And now the question is, let's just move it to the next slide. Now the question is that with the rising expectations, what do we need to expect out of a customer support system which we are building? And the generative AI can hallucinate. It can the responses has have to be grounded. It has to be relevant. When talking to the customer. So the rising expectations out. It's important to manage the rising expectations and contextual understanding to what the customer is speaking, to what the generative AI is responding to, and any issues or anything, if it goes wrong, it will be very much you would see your metrics going down in terms of the customer satisfaction if that is the case. And regarding channel proliferation, generative AI can be implemented in multiple channels related to whether it's a real-time channel or a async channel. A real-time channel could be phone or chat, and then an async channel could be email and social media and such. There are great chances that AI can be implemented in any of those. And while implementing these projects and transforming the way AI is transforming the customer support industry, it's important to understand what does your org demands the most, whether what's your baseline metrics and what should not change. Like, is it customer satisfaction, or is it the number of cases, the case deflection part, and things like that. So it's important to see what do you want to target first, and what's your baseline metrics versus what metrics you can you want to target. There are certain metrics which we can target as part of implementing generative AI. One is the resolution time reduction. So the AI in customer support systems can be implemented either on the customer side. So when we implement it on the customer side, we basically just have should have a 360-degree view of what the customer is reaching to us about, and then try to deflect the case as much as possible by providing relevant answers to them. And it should be horizontal scaled, the generative AI, meaning that it can provide the support to the customer right from a tier 1 agent to a tier 3 agent, depending on how you want to implement. There should not be any hops between the agent to agent. And the second part of it is the agent side generative AI, where we can implement something such as the copilot or something like that copilot or generative responses or case summaries. And there is a variety of different AI features which could be available. And the when we implement these features, we try to target the metrics which we care about the most. And in certain scenarios, the first metrics which you can see changing is the resolution time reduction, which means that the agent would be presented with certain responses to the customer, and then you can basically just reduce the time to resolve a customer's issue, or the time to first respond to the customer by a certain percentage. You can also improve the response accuracy. So in certain times, when the agent does not have a full end-to-end picture of what the customer is reaching to us about, what all products do have they purchased and things like that. Generative AI can really provide a very relevant response to the customer, and then act as a tier zero agent in that case to see how they can present a response to the agent to accept. And then the first contact resolution, getting fast support, getting like I said, that generative AI can be horizontally scaled, meaning that tier 0 to tier 3 agent can all be answered by one agent, and then it just reduces the need of having too many hops between agents to agents, like tier 1 to tier 3 agent. And then that should help increase the customer satisfaction and reduce the increase the first contact resolution cases. um, and while thinking about implementing these features, I would also like you to think about how much GPU cost are we incurring in this project, and is the GPU cost which we are getting for a given project, is it worth it than a cost per case which we have today? If you have the baseline metrics as the customer satisfaction, if it is not changing, then the next metrics which you can target might be the cost per case. And you really have to think about what is the cost per case when it comes to the GPU the GPU capacity which we have for the org. Right now, GPU is very scarce in the market, GPU capacity, and I think it should be used in the most impactful of the manner. So it's really important for us to think about how do we manage that expectation. um, and the other constraint is scalability. When it comes to implementing generative AI in the customer support systems, one of the biggest advantage is we can easily manage the vertical scaling when it comes to like peak season volumes, such as like in traditional times when the peak season comes, then the agents have to be scaled up, or trained, retrained, cross-trained, and things like that. With the generative AI, your system should be able to handle the increased volume, and that's the reason why scalability should be considered while even designing these systems, and see how we can make these systems much more scalable than at least 5 times or 10 times whatever the peak season volume is upfront, to see how they can handle these volumes. There are basically three pillars of generative AI success in in customer support. One is speed. You have to think about how soon are we getting the responses for the generative AI, like the wall clock time, the end-to-end time, when the customer reach to us, and then when we were able to provide the response back in certain times. There is a number which you can target and see how many of your P95 responses are doing in that range, or outside of that range. Basically, speed is one of the most important things which we can target it as part of these generative AI projects. The second is trust. So I think you have to start with sort of like go back to the drawing board and see what is your golden data set of the age of the responses by the agents, and see how you can train the generative AI based on that golden data set, and then see how the LLM model is responding to the real time customer cases, and then build that feedback loop back to the LLM model. Very very important thing is the responses are grounded, they are not hallucinated, they are very relevant to the what customer is asking, and they're contextually accurate and aligned to what the customer is asking. It's sometimes it's very important to get the real time feedback from the agents side, who are traditionally working with the customers, to see how the LLM is performing, using a round table feedback and things like that, to see if the responses are different, and how much they are different. Like, is it a critical failure or is it just a spelling mistake or things like that? So all these studies have to be done before you implement these. Um, and then the ROI, like I said before, you really have to understand what is the cost per case when it comes to GPU versus a traditional human agent. And then think about how, if you really want to do this project, or the GPU capacity can be used for something else which is more valuable than this. Implementation best practices, I would say that any generative AI project in customer support industry should be phased. When I say phased, start with your golden data set, get the QA feedback on how the LLM responses are, do roundtables with your high performing agents and see how the LLM is performing. And then you can also account for experimentation and A/B experimentation while launching a project, to see how your cases which are being processed through Llama are performing versus the human agents. So you take a certain percentage of cases, let's say 10% in the test cohort, and then 10% in the control cohort, and then compare that to see how your baseline metrics is performing, and then make sure that you are hitting the right metrics when it comes to your the metrics which you want to do, which you want to target. The RAG, it's very important to also provide the contextually correct information to the LLM model, to see how we can provide the feedback loop. Structured readiness assessment, you should be accounting for like worst case situation, like what is the governance framework, what is the privacy, what is the mask data masking, what is the legal implications of it, and things like that, before you go with the full deployment. And that is the reason why sometimes going with experimentation and a phase rollout helps a lot, to see how you're performing in terms of the readiness to do a full launch. um, then a couple of things which could really help uh, in getting the ball rolling is, one thing which you can simply do in your org is see how you can leverage, how you can summarize a certain work, be it like case summarization or chat summarization or phone call summarization, and then see how you can summarize a certain work item, and then use that knowledge to transfer the case to highly skilled agents. Like, if you're transferring the case from a tier 1 to a tier 2 or to a tier 3 agent, how you can retrieve that knowledge, that summary, and see how you can reduce the overall handling time of the case, or especially for the long standing cases or escalated cases. And then also, then once that is a stepping stone into any generative AI project in customer support, then you can also go to see how you can retrieve certain knowledge articles and present it to the agents. And then also, what we can do is like excel in environments that where generative AI can learn responsive. So basically, um, um, so like I have explained before, when it comes to peak season, there could be certain patterns there where we can see how the models can be vertically and horizontally scalable, and see how we can leverage LLM models to achieve that. um so in an overall perspective, certain tradition, you're once you are doing the research for the project and whether you should be doing this project, the traditional tool really wins when you have a simply and a very straightforward situations, such as, like, you raise a case, and then do a a straightforward case, and then a low volume case. So there is not enough ROI in implementing such as these straightforward cases, such as, like, access requests. You can simply automate it. There is no need for LLM there. So the first step should always be like how you can automate certain process on your side to deflect these cases, and then you can utilize LLM models to see how you can automate the high judgment situations, where you actually need a human intelligence and emotional intelligence more. And understanding these limitations really ensures how what are the things you want to target as part of these projects. um, in the strategic successful deployment, to achieve successful deployments, you should have a strategic framework of the generative AI, like what we have talked today. You should have a real-time feedback loop built to the LLM model, and always be lookout in the market to see what is the latest trends in terms of these next generation services, and then also do a regular cost and performance evaluation with the GPU powered LLM models versus the human agent, in terms of the cost per case and things like that. That's pretty much it from my side. Before closing out, I would like to also say that I just want to repeat the point that experimentation is very much important to see how you are trending towards the test and control frameworks for your org. And uh, traditionally, there is not a good experimentation frameworks in when it comes to um, the customer support services. So I would say whatever you are implementing, whether it is customer facing or agent facing, there should be a good experimentation framework so that you can really compare the test and control groups to see how you are impacting your baseline metrics, and versus what the um, your requirements are for this project. That's it from my side. Thank you, everyone, and let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer those.